Hello, welcome to the Film Vomit Podcast, an extension of the Vomit series of podcasts. As always, we're your hosts, Mac Taylor and
Cole Selby.
And we are continuing down the road for Ginger Dead Man vs. the Evil Bong as we stop at Evil Bong 2, King Bong, or Devil's Harvest. It has two titles. Every one of these fucking movies has two titles.
Yeah.
Maybe because their titles are movie parodies and some distributions are like, yeah, let's not do that. So we start out with a recap and the same damn title song. So, you know, there are points where this movie's low budget shines, and then there are points when you could tell they tried a little harder.
Yeah.
They had a little more faith in this movie than the other one.
The recap was just like the Ginger Dead Man one as well. It just shows clips of the...
Except they didn't even do a voiceover.
Yeah,
they just played clips.
Yeah. It kind of shows that they weren't really, like comfortable with the idea. Not comfortable with the idea, but they didn't expect you to watch the first movie, it seemed like to me. That's what it felt like almost.
I think they were also stretching the time out a little bit.
It was already a short
because,
movie.
you know, this movie's not even 80 minutes. Like, standard feature length's like 90 minutes. So they were like, let's not just have it be an hour. Let's stretch it out a little bit, right? So we get that, and then we see that Alistair moved out, and he has been called by Larnell to fix this problem with Bachman. And Larnell's still paranoid as always.
Yeah.
Still.
When we get a little bit of funny when Larnell opens the door and it's very, very acknowledges the fact that
Alistair's recast, and he's like, I barely recognized you.
Yeah, it's like I love his blank facial expression when he does.
He lets it sit like this was like a pre-taped show, like a live studio audience. Like he let the laughter roll out a little bit. It was well timed. Again, if you take out the Evil Bong stuff, you could make a show at it with these guys. They have great chemistry. This cast does, and it's kind of a shame they didn't get something else to work with. Larnell's dropped out because he set fire to the administration building.
He became a terrorist.
Because it was a corrupt corporation. He's writing a book about it, but he's never going to write that book.
Yeah, they really turned the dial up on his paranoia.
Yes, but in a fun way.
Yeah,
it's not an over-the-top way as far as, it's not annoying.
Well, his delivery with, what he's done, really makes, he is funny.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, everyone in this movie is a pretty decent performer.
Yeah, I can definitely tell they've gotten a lot better with their characters.
Because in the first movie they really didn't know what they were yet. And also, I think the guy who takes over the role of Alistair does a really good job. Because in the first movie, Alistair's very helpless and just a pushover. And this one, Alistair's a little more biting. He's got a little more of a stronger personality.
Yeah, in the first movie,
he's smart, but he's not you can relate to Alistair in this movie a little more. Yeah,
in the first movie, even his casting showed him being a smaller casting a smaller person. Now he's a normal, an average build, average guy, and it still fits. The voice fits him, the character fits him still really well.
You don't have to
and being the person
over exaggerate character traits to make them stand out. They get me and getting fucking tongue-tied all over the place here. And he makes a joke about, he goes, my book's going to be just as famous as the Picasso
Picasso. Yeah, that shit got me funny.
Again, there are some really good jokes in this, but then sometimes they get, undermined because right after this, they make a shit joke.
Yeah.
You have some, really well-written jokes, but they kind of get, taken back down by the lowbrow joke immediately after.
It's they got to have jokes for the people who get it, and then the people who don't get jokes very often, give them some toilet humor.
Yeah, I get it. It's just I want a little bit more from it because again, this cast is so good.
Yeah, and really the majority of the good jokes come from Larnell. I think he's really the delivery man. Not the delivery.
He's probably one of the better actors. Yeah, I could see him. He carries both movies really with his performances. And then we see Bachman has gotten a job.
Wow.
And he shows up with throw up on him because some kid threw up on him.
But don't get used to the job, him having a job.
Yeah, because he got fired because he keeps passing out randomly. Yeah. So he's got narcolepsy, but an extreme version.
Yeah.
And Larnell's like, yeah, it got bad. He fell asleep banging some fat chick with the hairy cooter. And Alan's like, oh, great. So you're just as subtle as ever. And he's like, just take him to a doctor. And he's like, well, that's why I called you. He's like, I'm not a doctor.
He just hates the man.
He hates the authority, so he calls this the smartest guy he knows.
Which is just the dude in college. He's working on his second major.
Yeah, and there's a funny line where Bachman's like, what happened to your old one? Did you lose it? And he's like, oh, that's a good one, Bachman. And he's like, what?
I think I missed that one, actually.
That was the jokes are not as fast paced as the first one. The first one had him hammering. This one has slowed it down a little bit, so you were kind of able to ride that wave a little bit more. And then we see Brett, who can't stop eating, so he's got real fat in 2 weeks. Yeah. And the prosthetics, like the fat suit and stuff, not bad for being on as low a budget as they were. Mm-hmm. You know, I because a lot of the times if someone's wearing a fat suit, you can see the seams a little bit. And I had to look real close to see the outlines of it.
I could see the makeup lines.
Yeah, but that's about it. Not bad.
Yeah,
overall not bad. For as low of a budget as they're on, they don't have Norbit levels of money to toss at this fat suit.
Indeed.
And Luann is with Brett, but she's embarrassed to be with him, and she'll just fucking leave here in a couple minutes, and then she's gone till the very end of the movie.
Well, she'll be a total bitch first, and then
I wonder if she was filming another one of these movies, because she's in a lot of these movies as well. Yeah. She was in the Ginger Dead Man 1. And whatnot, so I wonder if what she was doing, because she shows up for probably a day, because they probably filmed all these apartment scenes in a day or two. So she shows up for this and then just fucks off.
Yeah.
For the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
She's Tommy Oliver in season 1 of Power Rangers.
Yeah, she's only really here just to throw shit.
Yep, just to shit on Brett for being fat.
Yeah.
And Larnell then shows what's wrong with him is he humps Luann's leg. And then a skateboard as he ejaculates.
Yes, he really grinds on that pool.
Yes.
And then he coddles it. It's like, I don't know what's wrong with me, bro.
And again, that was a pretty funny moment. Mm-hmm. Also, Brett eats moldy pizza.
Which is the moldy anchovy pizza, which
he's like, what is this green stuff? He's like, I don't know, probably mold. It's been sitting there for a while.
Yeah. Larnell just was telling Alistair that the whole apartment stinks because he had the massive shits because of that pizza, and just letting him, the biggest guy he knows, just eat it, already a few days old. Ooh.
Yeah, fish sitting there for a few days. That's not great.
No.
But Larnell and Luann, they're actor and actress. They have pretty good chemistry off each other. Luann, the Robin Sidney chick, you couldn't tell from Ginger Dead Man, but from Evil Bong 2, she's a decent actress. She can kind of act.
Yeah.
Not great. But she can do this kind of character at least. Better than the endearing.
Honestly, if she was
heroine.
in any more of the movie, I'd probably be over. I think the amount of which she's in the movie.
I don't know.
Is a good.
The crazy pogo dance is hard to beat.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty grade A shit there.
Yeah.
So only they say, oh well, it must be what might happen to us later, but no, I think it's those who died in Bong world are the ones having these effects. So, the boys are the only ones that were actually confirmed to be killed in the Bong world. So I think that's why these side effects are happening, because they escaped Bong world, but they did die in it.
Which is, they never really explain, why the side effects happen at all.
No, they don't. I think it's just a reason to get them to the next location.
Yeah, indeed.
So they call basically Rabbit, the guy who delivered the package in the first movie, in for some weed. He tells them some info. Mm-hmm. And there's this bit where Larnell's like, who sent you? And he's like, who sent me? And they do this weird back and forth thing.
You say what sent me? I think you mean you, who? It's like, yeah, who? What do you mean, bro? Yeah, what?
And then Brett goes, we get it, it's the two old guys segment. And then this is weird, because then Al goes, Abbott and Costello, and he goes, who? And it's like, well, wait, you just referenced it. You may not know their names, but when he says what their names are, you wouldn't then be like, what are we talking about? You're not stupid. So I don't know, that was a little, it was funny, and then it was like, what the hell was that last pit? It wasn't fully, they could have used a little bit of a rewrite.
Yeah. Indeed.
So they go to South America, where the Bong is from.
They stop at Amsterdam.
Yeah,
first.
they did. You see the plane? Like, it is like the Indiana Jones line thing, and it like loops, goes to Amsterdam, and then goes to the Amazon.
Yeah.
That was also a funny little bit, you know, not an over, exaggerated joke, just a little subtle joke there. Yeah, for those that were actually watching the whole movie.
Yeah, and we get there, and they think they're lost. It's like as soon as we see them.
Yeah, they had no game plan once they got there where they were going.
Yeah, they brought Rabbit though.
Yeah, they brought Rabbit, and the only person that was able to pay for it was Alistair.
Oh, of course.
And again, kind of continues the joke that Larnell always borrows money.
Yeah.
And they see like skulls on posts, and they are all like, "Oh no, cannibals!"
Yeah, it is. It was when Bachman has his little catchphrase of monkey.
Yep, monkey. And they're like, "We get it. We've seen a lot of monkeys since you've been here." And he's like, "No, bad shit, monkey."
Which I think that his little catchphrase there has gotten more like
callbacks.
Yeah, like it's better. I think it's like fit him more now since the last movie. The last movie, it just kind of came out just to be funny, and now it actually feels like his catchphrase.
Well, it's now that it's called back to, it's an actual thing.
Yeah.
But it's not like overdone either.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
It only happens like three times maybe in this movie. Yeah. So they meet V, who is a researcher in the middle of this jungle.
Yeah.
And so she brings them back, and Brett's like sloppily eating beans.
Yeah, really, really gross.
Like all over the face, kind of deal. And Rabbit's like, "You smell weed," and she's like, "Oh, well, so what brings you guys out here?"
Yeah.
Like, quickly brushes it over, which you're not gonna bring like a bunch of stoners and them not know what weed is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I think even Pan's like, even like Larnell, like look.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah, it's like, I know what the weed smells like, man.
So Larnell brought Evie's pieces with them. He's like, I figured we might be able to use it.
Yeah, no one else knew. Only like he's like, and I guess he's supposed to be a hoarder.
They didn't even know he still had it. Yeah, but he is
like,
a hoarder, but
still.
he's like a controlled chaos hoarder. He knows where things are.
Yeah.
Which is shown when he finds the receipt to the FedEx thing.
Yeah.
And again, good touch.
Yeah.
Because it's not overdone.
But like, why would you keep that though? I mean, I guess
why
it
would he
turns out
keep
in the
anything?
End, but...
Why would he keep the anchovy pizza sitting on the stove?
Yeah.
You know? So they see that, and she goes, "This must be from the Poontang tribe."
And everyone, of course.
And everyone laughs at how ridiculous this is, kind of like the odd. And again, where Ginger Dead Man 2, like, kind of tried to just shove the fucking meta humor in your face, this one was a little bit peeled back, you know, where it's like, that's ridiculous, like, right?
They
Who would believe that would be in this movie?
Like, and they acknowledge that it's ridiculous, too.
And then they laugh, but then the plot moves forward. It's not like they keep saying, well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, yes, it's a funny name, but it's real, I promise. You can laugh about it.
So Rabbit and Larnell go, and they find the weed, which has been packaged.
Yes.
And then they find Grandpa, who, again, is only in this movie to berate Larnell aggressively.
Yes.
For a long period of time.
Yeah, very.
That is, I mean, he's kind of a villain in this movie, but it kind of gets forgotten about later. He's really just here again to just be like, and fuck you, you little dicked shithead.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I wonder if he ad-libbed all these insults.
It'd be great if he did. I kind of like how Rabbit pushed back against him a little bit.
He's like, what are you talking about, man?
It's like, what are you talking about, asshole? Like, what the fuck? Like,
this Rabbit just sound like, I'm pretty sure that actor is just extremely high every time he's in the scene.
Yeah.
And we reveal that he's walking because the weed has cured his whatever had him in the wheelchair. That was never really explained. And he is a partner of V's dad as a researcher, and that's why he's out here in the middle of this jungle.
Yes.
And V wants to use the weed to cure cancer.
Yeah. And other things, I guess.
Yeah, and pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's supposed to be super good weed that's supposed to cure all.
But Rabbit's like, nah, man, that weed was packaged to move, to sell. That's not packaged for research. Yeah. And she's like, no, he would never do that. And Larnell's like, never trust this man. This man is an asshole.
Yeah.
And so she wants to cure them, but she doesn't have any weed. But Rabbit stole some.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do a test on Bachman, Larnell, and Brett to see if the weed can cure their ailments.
Yeah, and we find out that the Bong piece is actually like waking up from the essence of
who starts
weed.
talking about like, why am I broken up? Where's that weed coming from? A lot of that kind of business. And then again, Rabbit goes, "Hey, we should put this killer Bong on Leno and stuff." And Bachman goes, "We should make like an Odd Couple television show with him and the guy from Friends." And I'm like, why? Because this happened in Ginger Dead Man too, where it was like, why we always want to put killer things on TV? Like, why is that? Like, that's the second time that joke has been used in these 4 movies we've watched. So again, we're 50%.
Like, I think that's definitely a more realistic thing that someone would do. Try to monetize
a talking bong instead of a killer cookie.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah. Not a good idea.
And then Rabbit tries to get some of the weed. She's like, "It's for medicinal purposes only." And he's like, "I got a itchy throat." Rabbit's a good addition to this group. He really does have a lot of fun stuff here in the movie.
Yeah.
Because in the first movie, we only had him for that delivery scene. That was it. And in this movie, he really becomes like a part of the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Larnell, so he warns V not to trust Grandpa. And she overhears him on a business call talking about selling weed. Because Evie won't stop talking, and he figures out she's there. And Larnell's boner pokes Brett in the eye at one point. That's a lower brow joke, but still kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then he reveals he's in it for the profit. He doesn't care about curing cancer. He wants to make money off all this weed.
And he does have a little bit of a point that, like, big pharmaceutical companies probably wouldn't like it too very much.
She's like, "I don't care." And he's like, "Well, I do."
Yeah.
And so
it's like I'm a capitalist.
Tells her to go screw herself.
But yeah.
And
takes Bong
Evie
pieces.
offers to become his business partner.
Yeah.
And so he goes to put her back together.
Which, where to get the rest of the pieces of the Bong? They only have.
Well, they just like reform. Like they only have the face, and like when he gets near the weed, she just reforms.
Just all of it.
All of it. And then Rabbit fucks off because he doesn't care about not smoking weed.
Yeah.
And he finds him putting the Bong back together and offers to be his delivery guy. But he wants too much money. But he's like, "Well, I'll blackmail you." And he's like, "Fine."
Yeah. And during that, when he's basically doing the "I told you so" to Felicity, she gets all upset. It's like, "I was going to cure cancer."
And he's like, "Well, let's see if it cures these idiots before you go trying to cure the big C."
Yeah.
And then he shows up and he says the killer Bong's killed more people than Manson, which Manson's never actually murdered anybody. He had those people murdered by his cult. So it's kind of an odd thing. You could say maybe killed more people than Bundy or Dahmer or Gacy. You didn't really need. This is an odd reference.
Like all of them would have worked. All of them would have have the same purpose.
Exactly. So it's like you picked the one person that never technically killed anyone himself.
And it was just really weird anyway.
And Grandpa says, "I eat assholes like you for breakfast," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, what? You eat assholes for breakfast?" Like, why wasn't that bounced back? That would have been a fun bounce back from Rabbit. Like, wait a minute, you eat assholes? And then back at the hut, which earlier there was a funny line where they're like, Rabbit's like, "It's a hut," or it was Alistair. He goes, "It's a hut."
Yeah, he's walking, like when they first get there, they see the skull. It's like, "Oh, up there." They get there. It's a hut. That was a good.
It's
really
a boulder. The natives used to ride these things for miles. That's kind of like how he reacted. He was very excited.
And then everything in the hut is just like
cheap as hell.
Yeah.
Because you see that they're eating SpaghettiOs out of salsa containers.
Yeah.
So again, this is where the budget of this movie really shines through. Yeah. They couldn't afford anything but SpaghettiOs and salsa cylinders.
It needs to look indigenous, man.
Indigenous SpaghettiOs.
It's just.
And then while they're doing that, everyone has been cured of their ailments, so the weed has worked.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, the Poontang tribe reveals themselves, which I think essentially is just a bunch of strippers that were hired by Full Moon because they're just topless for no reason.
Yeah.
This tribe has developed underwear cloths, but they can't cover their titties.
Yeah.
And so they're just a bunch of big-breasted ladies. Now, also, this indigenous tribe has found a way to get implants because not all these boobs were real.
Yeah.
They take Rabbit Evie and beat the shit out of Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
And every spear in this movie is tied wrong.
It's horrible.
It's just like wrapped around, whereas you would like try to loop it around, like to hold. Like when you went to stab someone with a spear, it would like break off.
Yeah,
It
like,
wouldn't actually
it's really just
work.
like the pointed end. It's not.
like-
It's not putting a split in the stick. It's literally slapped right on and just tied, wrapped around
like a little piece of fabric.
It's really bad looking.
Again, the budget shining through. So V and Larnell, they're about to get their flirt on, but Grandpa's like, the Poontang tribe, those bone stealing bitches. And then at this point, Grandpa leaves the movie.
Yeah, he's just gone.
Because he does that, gets them to go after the Poontang tribe, and then he was not touched upon at all.
Ever again.
So that's where we meet King Bong,
Mm-hmm.
who the Poontang tribe works for.
Yeah.
And he talks like a pimp. And when he shows up in Bong World, he does have a pimp hat and everything else. So he's like,
really
full reference. And it's Evie's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. We don't really get anything about King Bong at all.
Not really.
No.
And he also has very little movement. Because Evie puppet, like the eyes move and the mouth moves.
Yeah.
Nothing moves except the eyes, which are like digitally imposed that do a little, like, that's it.
Yeah.
Very cheap. And it's like a big stone bong with like 4 like bamboo shoots in it. And again, it's a hookah also.
Yeah. It's just I mean the voice definitely funny.
Yes.
He's funny. I'll give him that. Has some zingers.
So Rabbit and girls they toke on King Bong, and he makes a lot of like dick sucking jokes.
Yeah.
When people toke on it. And a lot of ass fucking jokes, a lot of gay jokes in general.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the group just stumbles and finds this hidden tribe that no one's found for centuries.
Yeah.
Just with Larnell and them couldn't even find anywhere. They got lost in the jungle.
Yeah.
And now they've managed to find this lost tribe.
Like this research thing, has been here for a long time. Because it was a legitimate research at one point.
Yep.
And they're just like right next to the fucking lost tribe.
Literally, they're like across the fucking stream.
The
whole time.
It's like it hasn't even changed. Like the daylight hasn't even changed.
Nope.
It's still like
they walked for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Jesus.
So they come there and they figure out the whole bodies are taken into King Bong because he's more powerful than Evie.
Yeah.
So Brett and Bachman go in and immediately get sidetracked by titties.
Yep.
Like they not 4 seconds later are which that was probably the worst 2 to send in first.
Yeah.
So they told by Evie to destroy his symbol of power, which is just a cheap medallion he wears.
Yeah. Why would?
Which he can't stop you from taking it off either. He doesn't have any arms.
He was very easily
defeated. They didn't need to fuck around with the chicks at all. Really, they just needed to go up, grab it, beat, and then done.
Like they just wanted to really just extend it out, like have a lot of shots on the titties.
They're like, listen, we paid for these girls for the whole day, and we're getting the whole damn day of footage. Then we'll break the medallion and go home.
All the titties.
All of them.
All the fucking titties.
All of them, multiple times. I don't care what the weather conditions may be.
And it's like the last movie. It's a strip club. It makes so much sense.
Like I said, these chicks is hanging out.
It makes so much sense. Like I understand. Like tribes and stuff. They might not have like the most advanced attire.
But they have silicone.
Yeah, they have silicone.
They have silicone.
And they don't even attempt to cover themselves.
Nope.
At all.
They just have beads in between the titties. That's it. It's like a big indigenous mardi gras.
Yeah, like I understand they're there for the titties, and
I'm glad they're here.
Yes, I
am
titties.
Cool with them being here.
Good titties.
Letting it hang, having a good time.
Yes.
All good.
Mm-hmm. But
it's just from a logical perspective.
It doesn't make so much sense.
But again, we're watching a movie about 2 killer bongs.
Yeah.
Or hookahs.
So King Bong was with
Evie.
Evie.
And then left her for the Poontang tribe.
How did he leave? He can't move. He didn't leave her. Other people stumbled upon him, and he was like, "Wow, there's other people out there."
And then they smoked, and he got him in his world, and Evie was taken by Jimbo. So Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
A lot like I was expecting a little bit of like a what is like a beginning here, like a
little backstory,
a little bit of more of a backstory thing, because we're going to like
Cole. We are 4 movies deep. How many questions get answered?
Hardly any of them
exactly
have been answered at this point.
So yeah, it was just like last time when you're like, why is the ginger dead man in a movie studio? And I just kind of looked at you and you're like, God damn it. We're never going to get answers.
But Rabbit does get turned into a large doobie.
Well, before that, before that, Alistair comes to save him.
Oh, yeah.
And gets knocked out. And then, Rabbit is rolled into a giant doobie. Because he was having the time of his life. He was doing this weird, like, hand thing with all the titties. Mm-hmm. He was having the actor, that wasn't acting. He was
having a good time.
He was just near some titties.
Like, heck yeah, I love my job.
So Al comes in, gets knocked out because he talks too much instead of just doing the thing.
Yeah.
So Rabbit, Bach, and Brett are all tied up. And Bachman goes, never trust your wiener. So Rabbit's rolled into a doobie and shrunk down, and he goes, help me, I'm a fucking doobie. He just says this like 40 times. So Larnell comes in, wakes up Al, unties everyone. Meanwhile, Rabbit asks God to save him, which comes into play later. So then Larnell just walks up, destroys the necklace, frees everybody, decides to stay with V at the research center. Everyone else leaves E.B. in the jungle.
Yeah.
She's like, no, wait, it's nasty out here. Don't leave me out here. And then, so we get back to the apartment without Larnell.
Yeah.
Bachman gets his job back since he's not fainting all the time. Mm-hmm. Brett's skinny again, so Luann takes him back. Mm-hmm. Everything kind of does a reset. And then Rabbit comes in, who is now a priest, but still smoking the ganja, and he smiles at the camera, and that's Evil Bong too. Yep. So Cole, give your overall thoughts and opinions and how it compares to the other 3 movies we've watched.
It was good. It was funny. I think a lot of the jokes really landed
this
time.
It's an easy watch, really. Yeah. That 1 hour and odd minutes flew by.
Yeah. I could have I understand they needed to extend the movie, but the intro sequence was really long. Yep. I wish they could have did something different a little bit. Like, instead of even using the exact same transition slides,
Which, when they did the transition this time, they added that burn effect.
Yeah.
So they changed it up a little bit. I was proud of them for that. It's just the opening. Maybe could have done a little different title sequence look. And also, we don't need the recaps.
Yeah.
Cut the recaps off the beginning. Mm-hmm. If you want to stretch it, add some extra footage. This cast has great chemistry. It's not like the Ginger Dead Man, where a lot of the actors and actresses annoy me.
Yeah.
Like, this is a good group. Give them more screen time. Mm-hmm. They deserve it.
Yeah.
So, overall, this was a good watch. Again, the Evil Bong movies have been much better than the Ginger Dead Man movies so far. But part of it is the cast. And they also don't, like, in the Ginger Dead Man, the cookie gets a lot of screen time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other actors and actresses all seem to suck.
Yeah.
In this, the killer E.B. doesn't get a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
It's mostly the cast.
Yeah.
So I think...
There really wasn't even any deaths in this one.
No one died.
Yeah. Not even any, like, fake deaths.
Nope.
Like the last movie. Like...
Although they almost, Rabbit was almost smoked. He was a doobie.
He was almost killed.
But there was no real sense of danger. There was less horror, more comedy in this one, which is fine.
Yeah, it works for it.
Yep. Had a good time with this one. Glad we did this.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. We got plenty of videos and podcasts and other things coming your way. Stay tuned next time. We're going to talk about Ginger Dead Man 3, Saturday Night Cleaver.
Oh, great.
Or I think it's called Roller Boogie something.
Oh, God.
It's going to be bad.
Okay.
It's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
We're going to have a bad time. So we continue down this road to the Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong. Until next time, I'm Mac. He's Cole. Stay safe and stay nerdy.